it's time to give my NFL team grades after the offseason. Now that free agency has passed and the draft and all that, all these teams now are kind of starting to be put together. We kind of get a clearer picture of what they're going to be. Only thing we're missing now is a schedule release, which is going to be coming out next week. Stay tuned for that. There will be a live stream on my channel if you guys want to check that out. Like I said, we know what these teams are going to be. Let's grade them. And then when the schedule comes out next week, that's when we're really going to be like, oh, we see how this team is constructed. Now let's look at their schedule. And if their schedule is tough, then it's like, man, this team's going to really suck. But first things first, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment your favorite team down below and how you think they're going to do this season. First team up is the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, they're just like a solid C team to me. Like, you look at them, like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the biggest acquisition they made. They did lose Rondale Moore, who I thought was a pretty good receiver. 12 draft picks. Now, we know all of them aren't going to hit, but if they can get like half of these guys to hit, man, they're going to be really freaking pretty. You know, like, the Cardinals are a young football team, and that's kind of what we're seeing the league shift to, like, trying to get younger and really hitting on your draft picks, you know. Like, I mean, that's how it's always been. But you look at, like, the Packers, you know, like, they're super freaking young, and their players are still developing, and, like, the Packers now are, like, a top 5 betting favorite to win the Super Bowl, you know. So I feel like the Cardinals are trying to copy that. So, yeah, they're a C, but they could be a B. It really just depends on how their draft picks hit. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons next. Like, I mean, the Falcons, they made a lot of big splashes getting Kirk Cousins in free agency, you know, but then they kind of pissed all that away by drafting Michael Penix 8th overall. I mean, it's been said to death. I mean, the Falcons, the NFC South, I think, is going to be more competitive than we're giving it credit for. We'll get to the Panthers and the Saints later on, but like Tampa Bay, I think is going to be competing for the division. So are the Falcons. If I had to pick right now, I think I would actually pick Tampa Bay. So yeah, Falcons are going to go in C tier, and I'll go ahead and jump to the Buccaneers. We'll do this out of order, switch it up a bit. The Buccaneers, I really like them getting Graham Barton. I really like that they got Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield secure. They're a solid B team to me. I mean, they looked really good in the game against the Eagles, even though the Eagles were collapsing. I still give the Buccaneers a lot of credit. And then they held their own against Detroit. So the Buccaneers are a good football team, way better than I thought they would be last year, which is awesome because I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. And Todd Bowles, I think, is a better coach than I gave him credit for. Baltimore Ravens, they're another solid B team. I mean, the acquisition of Derrick Henry is all they needed to do this offseason, you know, dude. Like, that was enough to make them have a successful offseason, because now every linebacker in existence is fearful for their ankles on what Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to do to them. Now it's just, can they get over the hump? Buffalo Bills, they'd be an A team if they didn't gift the Kansas City Chiefs a wide receiver. Not only that, the fastest wide receiver in the draft. Like, I don't know what Buffalo thought of Xavier Worthy and why they didn't pick him, but you still let him go to your biggest rival. And for that, I cannot take the Buffalo Bills seriously as Super Bowl contenders this year. A little bit of an editorial note while I was putting this video together and editing it, you know, I completely forgot that the Bills don't have Stephon Diggs anymore, and that they had to cut half their team because of the contracts that they gave to Von Miller and Josh Allen, and they have virtually no cap room. So the Bills are actually a C team. After I went back and thought about it, yeah, drop them from B, put them to C, on to the next team. Panthers F. I mean, there's no other way to describe them. They're the worst team in football. And you got the Bears. Just because I don't want to put another team in C tier, the Bears, it's kind of a prove it thing, you know. They're betting on a rookie quarterback. They drafted a rookie wide receiver, but they also got, you know, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, and Gerald Everett, you know, a lot of pieces around Caleb Williams. Now it's just on if he can translate. I mean, off-season wise, I think they're good, but this is me kind of grading where I think these teams, this isn't like their off-season grades. This is me talking about how good they're going to be, you know. And I mean, the Bears, like I said, it's just kind of a prove it thing, because they had a good offseason last year, and look what it got them. So until they prove to me otherwise, they're a D tier team because the division's also really competitive. You got the Packers and the Lions in there, and the Vikings are always going to be, a tough team. Bengals, another B team, man. I mean, I'm starting to load this up, and I ain't feeling good about it, but the Bengals, yeah, they're not the best team. They're not the worst team. They play in the most competitive division in football. They did lose Tyler Boyd to the Tennessee Titans, and then Joe Mixon went to Houston, but that was, via trade, so it kind of feels like the Bengals were like, okay, we don't need him, So the Bengals, it just depends on the health of Joe Burrow. If Burrow's healthy, they're going to make the playoffs. If he's not, they're still a good team, and they could squeeze into like the 7th seed or something like that. Joe Burrow's health is what prevents them from being an A team, if you ask me. Cleveland Browns, C team, they didn't really do anything. And then, they're still hamstrung by Deshaun Weinstein's contract. There's not really much I can say about the Browns. I don't like the Browns at all. They used to be the lovable losers. Now they're just the team that, employs Bill Cosby. I mean, I'm looking at their free agents right here. You got Jordan Hicks, you got Hines. Those are the two names that jump out to me. Devin Bush, I mean, that's a good signing. And they got Jerry Jeudy, who's a freaking bum. In the draft, they didn't get anyone special because they didn't have a first-round pick. They had a, mid-round, second-round pick. And, there's just not really much talent that jumps out to me on the Browns. Cowboys, I've said this in a lot of videos. If you want to check out my Ezekiel Elliott rant video, want to check out my Mike McCarthy rant video, Dallas Cowboys are going to make the playoffs, but they ain't going to do anything. They should be average, but with Jerry Jones saying we're going all in, yeah, no, D tier. Fuck them. Broncos, I want to put an F, but I really like the Bo Nix pick, actually. I think he will be really good with Sean Payton. I mean, they're in a rebuild mode. I mean, it's screwed. I'm putting them in F. I mean, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. But I can't put them in D tier because they made moves I like doesn't excuse. Plus, you're paying Russell Wilson $80 million. I mean, that's just a fat L, I mean, he's not even on the team. So, yeah, now I think about it, they kind of do deserve the F tier because they're going to suck. The Lions, A, they addressed their defensive back issues in the draft. The Lions, I think, are just going to be better than they were last year. I mean, heck, they got to the NFC Championship game, so it's like, how much better can they be? Watch them. The Lions, last year, they were one of the funnest teams to watch in football, and that's going to continue. Same with the Packers. I was talking about them being a young team and how, they're going to have the salary cap space to start chasing big free agents because they got everybody on a rookie deal, and then these guys are young and developing, So, yeah, I really like the Packers and the Lions. I mean, that could be your potential NFC championship. You got the Texans. If you had to look at them, if you said the Texans were going to win the Super Bowl, I would not argue with you. I still think the Chiefs repeat, but the Texans are a very good number 2. The Colts, they had a really good draft, and they got Michael Pittman re-signed to a long-term deal. So, I mean, the Colts, they're just average. They're a solid C tier. They're another team that it's just going to be kind of like, how is their quarterback going to be? Is he going to be healthy? That's the thing with the Indianapolis Colts. They're not going to win their division over Houston. Can they be a wild card team? They can. But it's going to be a tough race, The Jaguars are... they have 1 or 2 good years, and then they just suck the rest of them. And to me, they have not had a good offseason. They have not gotten better, and they sucked last year. The Jaguars, D tier, I think that's pretty deserving. Chiefs, obviously A tier, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes. It honestly don't matter who he's throwing to because it looks like hell. Rashee Rice just punched out a photographer, so his ass might be suspended for the whole year. The Chargers, I really like the Joe Alt pick, but who the hell is Justin Herbert going to throw to? And I know they want to be a ground and pound team, but what happens when you start getting down by 14, Like, are you going to be staying with the ground and pound? That's the thing I just don't like about the Chargers. I don't think they have a good mindset going into the season. And, I mean, if it wasn't for the Broncos, the Chargers would probably be definitely a contender to finish last in the AFC West. Rams, really like their offseason, really like the additions they made in the draft. They're a solid team that they could be in the wild card. Then you come up to this next team right here, the Las Vegas Raiders, signing Christian Wilkins. Me and Drew on the Trainwreck podcast, check it out, talked about their draft. He gave it a B. I thought they had a pretty good draft. Brock Bowers, I mean, I know they didn't like the pick, but he is a freakish athletic specimen, The Raiders, I think, are going to be a really shocking team to a lot of people this year. And I think Gardner Minshew is a lot better than people give him credit for. The Dolphins didn't really do anything to get better. They ended the season on a really ugly note. To me, they're just the Florida version of the Cowboys. So yeah, D tier. Now, this next team, the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, man, this is a really interesting spot because the Vikings, I like them a lot. I think their team is a lot better than it looks on paper. But if you asked me that a month ago, I would not be saying that because I thought Sam Darnold was going to be their quarterback. Now, it just depends how J.J. McCarthy translates to the pro level, but Kevin O'Connell is a really great coach. And so I'm like, I think J.J. McCarthy can be very good. And if he's got receivers to throw to, Can they get their running game going? Because with Madison last year, their running game was horrible. So if they can get a good running game going and help that take the load off J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings aren't going to be the worst team, Like, with Sam Darnold, I would say, they would probably only win, 3 games. With J.J. McCarthy, I got him at least winning 7. So, all in all, with them being so up and down, that's why I'm just going to put them dead in the middle at C. Patriots suck. There's no other way around it. It don't matter who they drafted, who they signed, the Patriots suck. The Saints, they're in salary cap hell, man. The Saints are just the definition of mid, but they didn't do anything to get better. I like that the New York Giants drafted Malik Neighbors, but they lost Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones is still their quarterback. F tier. And while we're on the NFC, same with Washington. I like the Jaden Daniels pick, but look what happened the last time they picked a Heisman winning quarterback at number 2 overall. I don't got no faith in Washington, so F they go. Jets, I'm not putting the Jets in. I'm not putting them in B tier because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay healthy this year. I think the Jets are going to be all hype like they were last year and then collapse. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to get hurt again. We'll see how this quarterback that they drafted does because I bet you he plays some games. The Eagles, this pains me to say it, and I could see people giving me pushback on this given how they ended the season last year. But with how well they draft and them getting Saquon Barkley, and it seems like they have unlimited money basically, it's hard to argue against the Eagles being an A team. Steelers, I feel like I got to put him in B for now because Russell Wilson is 1,000 times better than Kenny Pickett, and that's with Russell Wilson really not being good the last couple years. That's how bad Kenny Pickett was. They had a good draft. They had a pretty decent free agency. It's just the Steelers always find a way. And, I personally hope this is the year they suck and Mike Tomlin leaves after that because I want him to come to the Cowboys. I doubt it happens. But yeah, I like the Steelers. They're going to make the playoffs. That's why I just got to go B team because Mike Tomlin never has a losing season, and it seems like they always sneak their way into the playoffs. Seahawks, solid B team. They've been good since Geno Smith has gone there. I mean, how are they going to be without Pete Carroll leading the charge? I actually think them having a new voice in the locker room might actually do them some good. Sometimes hearing the same voice over and over again kind of gets tiring. So, yeah, I like the Seahawks a lot. I think they'll be a very good team. 49ers, A. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, he's good until the last 15 minutes of the Super Bowl, And then the Titans, man, they're interesting. I said the Colts could potentially be a wild card team. The Titans, it really just depends. Does Will Levis take a sophomore slump? Because now he's got Calvin Ridley. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. They signed Tyler Boyd. You got Spears and Tony Pollard in the backfield. And this Brian Callahan dude, the head coach, I think he might be pretty good. I don't know. I like the Titans a lot. If I put the Colts in C tier, I feel like I got to put the Titans there too. But the Titans had a really great offseason. It really just depends how Will Levis develops. But guys, that's the video. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Leave a like on it. Share it with your friends. Like I said, comment your favorite team down below. Tell me how you think they're going to do. If I piss you off by where I put your team on this tier maker, I don't care. If you get mad, comment that in the comment section below. It drives the engagement up. And, that's always good for the video. Hope you guys have a great day. Trainwreck Podcast, new episode coming out this weekend. Going to have our buddy Christian back on there. He was on 6-7 episodes ago. That was a really great episode. So I'm really hoping, I know this one will turn out great too. So I hope you guys check that out. Check out the latest episode of me and Drew. It was really, really funny. I had a lot of fun recording that episode. Yeah, check that out. Like the video, subscribe. See you next time.